George Buddy Guy became an exponent of Chicago blues and has so far been an influence to great performers like Jimmy Page, John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Keith Richards. Back then in the 60s, he played guitar alongside with Muddy Waters under Chess and soon struck a partnership with Junior Reed that played harmonica. Rolling Stone magazine came to rank Guy at number 30 out of 100 of the greatest guitar artists. Guy was once described as the best guitar player alive by Clapton. You read up his autobiography titled When I Left Home, My Story, which was published in 2012. Guy started life at Leesworth in Louisiana. He first started playing guitar with two-string guitar made of diddley bow, which he did himself. As he grew older, he was given an acoustic guitar which he donated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame some years later. Guy started playing with his band in Baton Rouge in the early 50s. While he performed there, he took up a job as a custodian in Louisiana State University. After taking up residence in Chicago on September 25, 1957, Muddy Waters' works caught the interest of Guy. He then went on to record for Cobra Records. His work for Junior Wells for Delmar Records took up the stage name Friendly Child between 1965 and 1966. At the start of his career, Guy had difficulties making progress due to some business decisions. Chess Records, which he worked for then, took out of jealousy of other record labels. As a result of this decision, Guy's songs, which he did in live shows, were not recorded between 1959 and 1968. According to Leonard Chess, who founded Chess Records, Guy's songs were noise to the ear. During this time, Chess Records made attempts to record Guy as a solo artist together with jazz instruments, R&B ballads, soul, and novelty dance tunes. Eventually, none of Guy's recordings were released as a single. Not until 1967 was his album, Left My Blues in San Francisco, released. A good amount of the songs in the album had the style of soul boom, which was common then, having Gene Barge and Charlie Stepney orchestrating the song. Guy was mostly used by Chess as a backup guitarist for Muddy Waters, Little Walter, Howlin' Wolf, Coco Taylor, and a host of others. Guy took part in European Tour of American Folk Blues Festival in 1965. He made on-stage appearances in March 1969 during Super Show, hosted by Staines, England. Personalities like Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, Buddy Miles, The Misunderstood, Jack Bruce, and a host of others were present at the show. As the 1960s drew close, Guy's popularity took a downward dive. But by late 80 and into the early 90s, his career made progress. This progress can be attributed to Clapton asking Guy to partake in 24 Nights All-Star Blues Guitar, which was staged in London's Royal Albert Hall. After that success, he was signed up by Silverstone Records. Guy has been performing every year while taking up residency in January at his Chicago Blues Club. Even though most people refer to Guy's song as Chicago Blues, his works are out of the box. He has a blend of deep and radical gumbo blues, avant rock, free jazz, and soul at each of his performances. Below was what John Perales, a critic of Guy's work, said of him in 2004. Guy has found a way of combining Mingus anarchy, virtuosity, and deep blues in such a way that makes him stand out. The songs coming from his guitar is gentle and sweet to the ear. He is truly a master of tension, as he is at his best when doing either gentle menace or bending new curves. Cleveland made the following revelation of Guy in an interview in April 14, 2004. Most times while playing, I experiment with the hope of striking the right note or singing the right lyrics. My end goal is for my songs to be played on big stations most people know as classic. If Eric Clapton is to play Muddy Waters song, people will call it classic and then air it out on big stations. In the end, you won't hear Muddy Waters. For about a half a century, Guy hosted a lot of performances that were flamboyant in nature. He did blues and rock blues. At the peak of his career, he was able to make great influence on new and upcoming artists. Guy has connected blues with rock and roll. Whenever he plays his guitar, he always does it in a loud manner, using some distortion techniques coupled with feedback techniques, makes his solos long, and manipulates volumes so as to create a strong emotion. Some of his techniques were put to use by some British artists in the 60s. Today, his style of song is known as hard rock and heavy metal. In the words of Clapton, "I saw God with the eye others saw Elvis." Hendrix was once quoted as saying, "Heaven is lying at Buddy Guy's feet while listening to him play guitar." Beck still remembers clearly the night he performed together with Guy and Vaughan at Chicago. "I saw with my eyes an amazing talent I have never seen in my whole life. It was sensational when the three played together. The song we did that night brought me closer to blues."